If you look close enough, you can actually see the control. What's going on, guys? Josh from soccerreviewsforyou.com, bringing you my review plus on-feet video of the brand new Adidas Predator 18.2 in the launch Skystalker pack colorway. Now, this is the first takedown model in the new Predator lineup with a retail price of $140 US, which is a whole lot cheaper than the Predator 18.1, but still pretty steep in price overall, especially for a takedown model, considering that takedowns in general are all about the value proposition. That begs the question whether or not the Predator 18.2 is worth your money, and that's what we're going to be discussing in today's video. I will say that I've been pleasantly surprised with the overall quality of the shoe, but it is by no means perfect. So if you want to learn everything there is to know, tech specs, the way they fit and feel on feet, the weight, absolutely anything, that's what we're going to be covering in today's video. So stick around for that. And if you are interested in a pair for yourself, I'll leave a little pop-up on screen, or you can click the first link down below. That'll take you to the review page on my website, where you will find buy it now links with exclusive SR4U coupon codes, where you'll be able to pick these up below their normal $140 retail price. When I first saw the Predator 18.2 was going to be $140, I immediately thought that was too expensive. Now that I have them in my hands and I've had the opportunity to try them out, I have to say that the actual quality of the shoe is justified by the price tag to a certain extent, and we'll go over all those details in this video. However, once you actually put these on, I do have some problems with this shoe that may be a deal breaker for a lot of people. And the reason why I'm telling you this at the very start of the review is keep in mind that as I go over every single element of this particular product, or really any product that I review, whether it's positive or negative criticism, there's always a reason for that criticism. I never say that something's really good for no reason, and I never say something is really bad without specific reasons. Also keep in mind, I'm not a store. I don't have an inventory of this shoe. It doesn't matter whether you buy the Predator 18.2, another Predator model, or any other shoe to me. All I'm simply doing is sharing my honest opinion on this product, as well as other products that compare, either because they're similar in terms of fit and feel or similar in price. And when you're talking about a takedown model where price point is everything, that's very, very important to consider. So whether or not you have this shoe or you were thinking about getting them, my opinion is based on what I truly think and nothing else. So please keep that in mind whenever watching any of my reviews, especially the ones on takedown models. Let's start off with the upper, because it is easily the most impressive aspect of the Predator 18.2. Now up close, you'll notice that it looks very similar to what you would find on the two top end models, the Predator 18.1 and 18 Plus. It even has the control skin top layer that gives you that ridge texturing through the midfoot and forefoot area. But the difference here is that this is not a prime knit base. Instead, it's a prime mesh, which is basically just a mesh-based synthetic. It's a little bit less complex in terms of its overall construction, where basically it's a mesh-based layer, polyurethane layer on top, which is technically the control skin, and then they press it to create this ridge design throughout the entire upper. Now, the material itself is extremely soft and flexible out of the box. I would say equally as soft as what you would find from the top end models. The difference being that this is going to be a little bit less dense and a little bit thinner overall, which again is not a bad thing. Really, if this was the upper that was featured on the top end model, I really wouldn't be mad about it at all. The quality is very, very good. And I guess what you would expect from a top end model within the Adidas brand. So from a quality standpoint, the touch that it provides, the way that it feels on feet, I actually think this is very, very good. There's really no extra grip to be had from the ridge texturing there. It's more so for looks than anything. And for the most part, the touch that this provides is just on the thinner side overall. Not necessarily true barefoot, but along those lines. So again, from an upper standpoint, I think the quality is very, very good. Also, like the Predator 18.1, you'll find that the 18.2 features a one-piece construction to the upper, although the middle part where the laces are positioned is not filled in with elasticated prime knit. It's instead filled in with a very high quality neoprene material, and of course that extends into the collar area. So obviously, again, not prime knit like you'd find on the higher end models, but this doesn't feel cheap. It doesn't really look cheap in my opinion either. I know everyone's gonna have their opinion about this stitching along this kind of orange rim at the very top of the collar, but for the most part, it really doesn't feel any different from the prime knit collar you'd find on the more expensive versions of the shoe. Now keep in mind, there really is no structure to this at all. You can actually see where the real cut of the shoe is, basically where the stitching line is. So everything above that line has no structure to it at all. It's just this stretchy neoprene material. And if you're not familiar with what this is, if any of you guys had the X15.1 with its kind of neoprene extension piece, this is basically that exact same type of material. So we have seen something like this before on top end models from Adidas, now of course featured on a takedown model. Again, everyone's gonna have their own opinion on that. It's really there more so for looks than anything, but from a looks and quality standpoint, it actually feels pretty decent. While on the topic of the heel area, this of course does not have a control frame sole plate, therefore it does not have the external heel counter going around the back. Everything is fully internal and it's fairly low as well, which I'm not crazy about. We'll talk about that more in just a second. Internally, you'll find that it has a really nice synthetic suede heel liner, which feels very comfortable against your heel, decent amount of padding back there as well. And unlike so many takedown models from Adidas, this actually does have a removable insole, mesh liner on top, and it's made from a single layer of black foam. Again, not too far off from what you would find on the high-end version. The sole plate itself looks to be identical to what you would find on the Predator 18.1, but you'll notice that any kind of control frame branding is absent, and the reason for that is because this isn't actually the same despite looking so similar. The difference is of course the type of material that they use for the construction. This is a thicker, kind of more rubbery type plastic material, and then also the internal structure is much stiffer on this particular shoe. Basically what you'll find is from these three studs, they kind of line up forming a line. From here back, the sole plate pretty much has no flex. So you'll find that when you hold these in your hand, and you can do this in a store if you ever see these, it flexes from that point forward. So basically where those three studs line up, that's where the sole plate has flexibility. The rest is rock solid. There's very little flex to this particular area of the foot, which is fine in the midfoot and heel, but at the base of the forefoot, because it doesn't have that flexibility that you would want, and it really doesn't change much after wear time, the shoe has a much clunkier feel than you might want, and it can actually cause your heel to kind of lift a little bit inside of the shoe. And when you combine that with the way that this heel actually fits, it can cause a little bit of slippage and just general lack of lockdown in the heel area that you simply do not get with the Predator 18.1. So that's gonna be one of the major differences when comparing this to the top end model in the line. And again, it's one of those things that just seems unnecessary. It's a common characteristic for so many Adidas takedown models, and I'm not sure why they still continue to do it like this. As far as the stud pattern is concerned, that remains the same as what you'll find across the entire Predator line, high end or low end. It is their FG-AG layout, so this is technically safe to use on firm natural grass as well as artificial grass playing surfaces. And really, the performance you get in regards to traction is solid. It's the same layout you'll find across the entire Adidas line. So if you've worn an Adidas shoe in the last 4 or 5 years, you kind of have an idea of what to expect. In terms of weight, again, you'll find a fairly significant difference in comparison to the 18.1. The Predator 18.2 weighs in a size 9 US at 9.5 ounces, which is not particularly light for a shoe in 2017. And in comparison to the 18.1, those weigh in at 8.2, 8.25 ounces. So these are over an ounce heavier than what you would find from the model above it. And given that at 8.2 ounces, that's kind of just borderline where most top end models fall in 2017, these aren't really gonna provide that lightweight feel on your feet. And if you're wondering where all that extra weight is coming from, it's the sole plate and the overall construction. It's a different material that quite simply is heavier. There's really no extra weight in the upper. All the weight difference comes from the sole plate, so the added weight plus the lack of flexibility just makes this feel a lot more clunky than what you would get from that top end 18.1. As far as the look of the shoe is concerned, the Predator 18.2 does not look cheap in my opinion at all. I know everyone's gonna have their opinion on the collar. I personally don't think it looks bad at all. Obviously it comes with these kind of orange laces to match this little accent color, which is going to be exclusive to the Predator 18.2. Everyone's gonna have their opinion on that as well. But really, it looks pretty high end. It has all the same ridge texturing that you'd find on the higher end versions, which looks basically as good, I would say. Obviously, it doesn't have the heel counter, so the Predator branding gets changed up a little bit on the back, but I think the way they did it looks pretty clean in general. And then again, the sole plate looks pretty much identical to that of the 18.1. So from an aesthetic standpoint, I actually don't think these look cheap at all. It does kind of pass almost as a top-end model in terms of overall looks, but I'd be curious to hear your opinions down below in the comment section. Do you like the look of this shoe? Why or why not? All right, so as you can see, I swapped out the black and orange laces that come with the shoes for some white and black grid pattern SR4U replacement laces, which I just like the white and black combo on this shoe. Plus the pattern I think just fits really well with the ridge design on the upper, and especially the extra texturing you see because of the prime mesh base. So if you are interested in a pair for yourself, the website to go to is www.sr4ulaces.com. There'll be a little pop-up on screen as well as a link down below in the description. So if you're interested in a pair, be sure to go ahead and check that out. So on feet, the Predator 18.2 feels really, really comfortable. The upper is soft, it's flexible, the collar you don't feel at all. It's nice and snug through the midfoot when you tie the laces tight. It's just the heel that I have an issue with. And this is so common amongst Adidas takedown models. I'm not sure why they haven't fixed this, but the fit in the heel is very, very shallow. It's almost as if your heel sits too high inside of the shoe and you end up not having a deep enough fit to where your heel is locked in place. So what you'll find is as soon as you start stepping forward a little bit, your heel slips up a little bit. Plus, because the sole plate doesn't have the proper flexibility that it should, that causes your heel to kind of pop out a little bit more. So the overall stability and just lockdown in the heel area is nowhere near as good as what you would find from the Predator 18.1, which really has solid lockdown overall. And I have the same issue with the Predator 18.3 and a lot of the Nemesis takedown models as well. Again, I don't know why this is the case with so many Adidas takedowns, but to me, that is the major issue with this particular model. Not only just for the price, but in comparison to other shoes you can get for the same amount of money or less that simply don't have that issue. Everything can be great, but if the fit and lockdown is not right, that kind of screws everything up for me. So for that reason alone, I'm just not a huge fan of this particular shoe. Everything else though is solid as far as width is concerned. If you're curious, they've got a decent amount of width to them. They feel a little bit more snug than what you would find from the Predator 18.1, but I will say for the most part, I think they will fit most people without too many issues in terms of overall width. And as far as sizing is concerned, I'm wearing my usual size 9 US here, and the fit and the length is perfect. So if you are looking to order a pair for yourself, I would strongly recommend going true to size in order to achieve the best possible fit. So to sum up the Predator 18.2, the quality of the upper is top notch. It really could pass as a top-end model in my opinion. But the heavier weight of the shoe, as well as the awkwardly stiff sole plate, I'm not a big fan of. And then really the one thing about this that really ruins it for me is the fit in the heel. It just doesn't have the lockdown or security or really the feel that you get from that higher end Predator 18.1. So in that regard, it just isn't as good of a shoe, which I think most people would expect. And considering that this is $140, I don't necessarily think it's the best value in the world. If you can get them at a discounted price and you don't mind the way that they fit in the heel area, then maybe it wouldn't be a bad option for you. But for $140, I wouldn't necessarily recommend buying a takedown model, period. We've already seen the Predator 18.1 discounted down to $150 for special promotions. And I can imagine that once more colorways come out, you're gonna be able to get that Predator 18.1 for about 140 bucks, if not even a little bit less. And really, if you have that much money to spend in general, if it doesn't have to be a Predator, consider what is on sale as far as top-end models that have been marked down, because that is going to be the better option for you in terms of overall quality, fit, and performance characteristics versus spending $140 on a takedown. And I really have the same opinion about a lot of takedown models in this price range. Something like the Nike Mercurial Veloce 3DF with a $175 retail price, while not a bad shoe just like this, I just don't think it's worth it for that kind of money. If you have that much to spend, consider all your options. That's my best advice. Anyways, guys, that is it for my review of the Predator 18.2. Again, if you're interested in a pair for yourself, you can click the first link down below. That'll take you to the review page on my website, where you'll find buy it now links with exclusive SR4U coupon codes, where you'll be able to pick these up below their normal $140 retail price. As always, any questions, leave them down below, and I'll definitely get an answer out to you as soon as I possibly can. If you guys enjoyed the video, be sure to support it with a like. Subscribe if you haven't already for daily videos on all the latest and greatest soccer gear. You can find all my social media information linked in the description as well. And other than that, guys, hope you enjoyed the video, and we'll see you in the next one.